So I think I've recovered enough from my workplace injury to get back to this Porsche 914. It may take some time to get fully back up to speed, but those of you who've been following this thread, we installed the rear floor pans on this car because those were really rotted out. Also, we did the whole lower inner firewall, replaced all that. Had to do that first, and there was a couple of patches up on what I call the bulkhead above the firewall, and a few below it on the back side of that firewall as well. So now the next thing we need to do is put in the cross member that so helps support the rear floorboard, and also is integral into getting your seats reinstalled, because there's a tooth bracket on there that sets the angle of the seats. So we'll see more about that later. Anyway, let's take a look at the parts I got from Restoration Design for the cross member. They did not have the cross member complete. So I got the two halves for basically the same price. Now note, when you get them, the ends are not flanged out, and that will have to happen. They've cut them conveniently enough, but I've already done this one here. You have to bend them out to create that flange, and we'll drill that out for rosette welds. So saves one step, cutting out along the angles where you need to cut it anyway, so that's not too bad. And then also I'll need to prime the inside, because that'll be all sealed up. The floorboard itself is already primed, so that's good. That, and drill a lot of holes for spot rosette welds, and a bunch of trowel fittings, and these will be ready to go back in. Should be pretty simple and straightforward. So in this initial test fitting, I have about a 1/4 inch gap in the middle, and it's laying pretty much exactly where the original came off. I can tell by the marks from the grinder. And then I basically lined up right there with that edge. It seems to be nice and straight, so I put down some marks. Also note that I've got a bit of a gap here at the end, but the metal will expand. So, or if it doesn't expand that far, I just take the hammer and bend those flanges down. I'm debating whether to put rosette welds, probably a couple on each tab, and then really nail it down with seam welds. All right, almost done drilling these rosette welds out. I went on 1.5 inch centers. The original part didn't have a whole lot of spot welds, so I think this is more than sufficient. And then there'll be a couple seam welds here and there. Here's the one I finished last night. Still trying to take things kind of easy with this workplace injury, doing a little bit at a time, listening to my body. I'm hoping to have these tack welded in the floorboard today. That's probably about as far as I'll get. Okay, I just got it screwed in. I will have to bend those flanges out because we got a gap You see that right there. And therefore, I did not drill them out, because if you drill them out and you have to shorten the tab, you end up with part of your hole in the wrong spot. It's hard to describe, but it'll be better just to do seam welds once I bend them out and have it made up with the inner longitudinal there. Gap in the middle isn't too bad. I can bridge that, no problem. I got some extra holes. I got a little crazy and drilled holes for rosette welds where they don't need to be any. I can put some copper under there and fill those in, so no big deal. That's all I'm gonna get done today. I got my injuries are giving me some pain right now, so maybe do some welding tomorrow, see how it goes. So I ended up with my arm in a splint because it wasn't healing the way the orthopedic doctor thought it should. So that's really slowed me down on these projects. But before that evaluation happened, I did get the cross member welded in. So let's take a look at that. So the flange ends, I just bent them down, got good contact on the longitudinal, on the inner longitudinal, and everything ended up pretty good. I put, let's see, 4 extra seam welds, and I haven't grinded these welds down, so they look really messy right now. Sorry about that. But, I mean, it's solid. Let me stop this a moment. We'll go to the other side. There we go. Yeah, once I get these welds ground down and cleaned up, you know, it'll be okay. I mean, with a foot in there, it's really solid. So the next thing will be to put the brackets for the seats on. Let me flip this thing over. I still have the old ones. Those aren't too bad from Restoration Design. That's that bracket that does the adjustment for the seat level. What is expensive, and I can't figure out why, are those seat hinges. Those are like 35 bucks each, which seems really expensive to me. So I can go to the trouble and extract those off. I think I have to buy one because one of them's missing. Or I can just buy all the stuff fresh, you know, save myself a lot of time and trouble, not having to pull it off this old metal and clean it. So I don't know, I haven't decided, but it's still going to be a little while. I got to take it easy on this arm so it will heal. But I wanted to go ahead and post this video of the cross member, and then I'll start a new video for the seat brackets, which actually Restoration Design has a really good one, and I'll be watching it whenever I weld these hinges. And there's also those mounting points. Got those over here. So those go down, and then the hinges go on top, and everything's got to be aligned and everything. So anyway, I don't know if I'm gonna, there's such a good video already on the web. I mean, it's like, why make another one? But give me your comments in that regard. And yeah, hopefully I'll get released from this splint in a week or so. Thanks for watching, guys.